Hello everybody, welcome to the Mild Rumpus, coming at you live from the House of Flimsy, my dilapidated one-bedroom apartment that is filled with books and noise. Today I'm going to be telling you about all of the books that I plan on reading during the month of June. So, now that the month is almost over, what better time to tell you what I'm planning on reading during the month of June? I have completely dropped the ball on this channel this month. I think the heat has a lot to do with it. You're gonna see the videos becoming fewer and shorter from me just because when I record, I have to turn off the fan and the apartment immediately gets to be like 80 degrees, 80, 90 degrees. It's like, no. Yes, I am from Texas, but in Texas we have central air and heat. There's a big difference between that and my little rinky-dink window unit in the next room that barely puts out any air. So we're gonna make this short and we're gonna make this sweet. So I have 5 books to show you, and they all kind of center around the theme of shady characters or people that are put in a shady situation. So we're just gonna call the theme of this month Summer Shade. The first book that I chose is The Berlin Stories by Christopher Isherwood. I wanted to read this at the very beginning of the month because I had tickets to see Cabaret for my birthday, and even though I had seen Cabaret a bunch of times, I had never read the original source material by Christopher Isherwood. The Berlin Stories consist of 2 related books that were published in the 30s. The first book is called The Last of Mr. Norris, also known as Mr. Norris Changes Trains, and the second book is called Goodbye to Berlin. And here's a little bit about the book. It says, first published in the 1930s, the Berlin Stories are recognized today as classics of modern fiction. Isherwood magnificently captures 1931 Berlin, charming with its avenues and cafes, marvelously grotesque with its nightlife and dreamers, dangerous with its vice and intrigue, powerful and seedy with its mobs and millionaires. This is the period when Hitler was beginning his move to power. The Berlin Stories is inhabited by a wealth of characters, most notably the unforgettable Sally Bowles, whose misadventures were popularized on the American stage and screen by Julie Harris in I Am a Camera and Liza Minnelli in Cabaret. So, there you go. Book number 1 and 2, The Berlin Stories. Next up, we have Brideshead Revisited. This is another modern day classic. I don't know a lot about the book. I do know that it is supposedly filled with some shady characters. Here's what it says in the flap. It says, briefly, here is the story of the rich and the beautiful, the damned Marchmans, as told by Captain Charles Ryder, who revisited their home Brideshead in the war years. It's the story of exquisite, appealing Sebastian, who drank to escape bondage, of Julia, who defied family and church by her marriage, and of Ryder himself, drawn irresistibly within the vortex of this extraordinary family. It's the story of the strain that faith may put on different temperaments, of how thin its thread may be for some, and how strong it may be in the lives of others. With such a theme, this brilliant author has reached the maturity which his previous novels promised. So, Brideshead Revisited. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I believe the next book on our list was influenced by Brideshead Revisited. I think it shares some similar themes to that book, and that is The Talented Mr. Ripley. Yes, behold the movie tie-in cover that we all despise. In a chilling literary hall of mirrors, Patricia Highsmith introduces Tom Ripley. Like a latter-day Henry James hero, he is sent to Italy with the commission to coax Dickie Greenleaf back to his wealthy father. But Ripley finds himself very fond of this prodigal young American. He wants to be like him, exactly like him. Suave, agreeable, and utterly amoral, Ripley stops at nothing, certainly not only one murder, to accomplish his goal. And yes, I have seen the movie. No, I do not remember much about it. It's been several years. Reading the synopsis, it sounds like single white female, doesn't it? But I didn't know this. There are 5 Tom Ripley books, so if this is good, I might go down that rabbit hole. We'll see. Last up on our Shady Summer TBR, we've got Allie Smith's Summer. This is the final book in her seasonal quartet, which I've been reading throughout the year. Whenever that season would come up, I would read the book. This is the last book in the series, and here is what it's about. In the present, Satya knows the world's in trouble. Her brother Robert just is trouble. Their mother and father are having trouble. Meanwhile, the world's in meltdown. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? And the real meltdown hasn't even started yet. In the past, a lovely summer. A different brother and sister know they're living on borrowed time. This is the story about people on the brink of change. They're family, but they think they're strangers. So, where does family begin? And what do people who think they've got nothing in common have in common? Summer. So, those are the 5 books that are on my June TBR. If I can finish them early, I'll sneak more in, but I'll be lucky if I finish those 5. I'm not gonna lie. I just am kind of lazy. Slow summer days. I think it has to do with the heat and just life in general. And as I watch other people's YouTube channels, we all seem to be kind of on the same page. I think everyone is just kind of like, whoa. And speaking of whoa, make sure that you hit that like button and subscribe and feed the algorithm. Do all the things. Lord knows I killed it when I took 2 weeks off, so any help will be greatly appreciated getting the word out and sharing this video. Be sure to let me know what you are reading in the comments, and until next time, happy reading, stay safe, bye.